new short documentary from GBH tracks the final days in the U.S. for Anderson Costa, a Framingham resident who made a difficult decision to return to his home in Brazil after waiting years unsuccessfully for his visa application to move through the U.S. immigration system. In the city of Framingham, a community built by and for immigrants now wrestles with the questions of what happens when those same immigrants, like Anderson, feel that they can't stay. Downtown businesses are reporting a 40% drop in revenue. City public schools face declining enrollment. And what goes into that difficult choice to turn your back on the American dream? Joining us now over Zoom from Natal, Brazil, is the man I just mentioned, former Framingham resident Anderson Costa, and in Studio 3, GBH senior video producer Emily Judum, who reported and produced the project. Emily, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having us.
Anderson, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm so glad to be here with you guys. I miss you, Emily. I love you.
I miss you
So
here
nice
too,
to see you again.
Anderson. It's nice to hear your voice.
Oh,
Anderson,
yeah.
can you tell us a little bit about just you and the decision you made? How long were you living in Framingham? What was the lead up to this decision to leave? When did you leave? Just give us a little sense of it.
Yeah. It's hard to me because a long time ago, I have a dream to live in America. And this is American dream. It's a lot of people have this dream. And I make decision to go and see the country and start to work or help to pay the dentist college for my daughter. And I become lovely for America and try to change my tourist visa for work visa. And I didn't everything right. I pay my lawyer, I did everything what I need to do. But I don't know why the times go, and in 2 years, in 5 months, and I don't have any answer. And I have 5 children and my wife. My whole family was in Brazil, and they wait for me now.
Yeah.
And I can send money for them, but it's not about money. It's about family. It's about memories. You know what I mean. American love family. I know this. I live
Yeah.
this. I make family in America, and for me, it's hard to leave. When I make decision to leave, it's hard because I make family in America and I have family in Brazil,
Yeah.
and it's hard to make this decision. But I think I pray a lot, and God answering me first. The government, and I give up. Uh, I don't know. It's hard to say this because I'm a military guy, special force. I don't like to give up the dreams. I don't like to give up the fight. I don't like, but it's hard to live far away from my family. And I
Yeah.
live one year and 6 months in Framingham, and I feel in Brazil. I feel home because it's a beautiful city, beautiful people. I make a lot of friends at the church and the gym, and uh, I don't know. It's so hard to do to get the work visa now because I didn't write. I pay my tax. I pay my lawyer. I did everything right, and
Yeah.
wait. It doesn't have an answer.
The long wait. Emily, I'm going to turn to you. I mean, is it possible to know how many Brazilian immigrants are making the same choice as Anderson?
We spent a lot of time in our reporting trying to find the answer to that.
Yeah.
And for obvious reasons, it's a very complicated process for each individual and each family. And so there's no way to track exactly how many people are deciding to leave and voluntarily return to Brazil. But we did find numbers, which I believe you just mentioned several of them at the top of the show, that indicate that a lot of Brazilian families are choosing to
What are
leave
some of the?
Birmingham.
I mean, what are some of the indicators that we can kind of look at and say, okay, this is starting to tell us a story here?
So businesses, as you mentioned, are reporting businesses downtown in downtown Framingham, which are mostly small, independent businesses are reporting a 40% decrease in revenues in the last year.
Yeah.
The schools have experienced a huge drop in enrollment. They've lost over 740 kids in the last year. And I spoke to the superintendent of Framingham Public Schools, and he said that this decline was unprecedented, not only at Framingham, but in his career as a superintendent.
So he's never seen anything like it.
He has not. Yes. And then also the Brazilian consulate in Boston said that they have issued triple the number of Brazilian passports since January 2025 as they did the previous year and a half.
Wow. Okay, so some strong indicators there of what's going on. For folks who maybe kind of vaguely know where Framingham is and maybe have driven past or through it but not spent a lot of time there, tell us a little bit about Framingham and the Brazilian community in Framingham in particular.
So Framingham, so I grew up in Framingham in the 80s and 90s. And that was just about the time when there was a huge wave of Brazilian immigrants. And the town had really been neglected. It had really fallen by the wayside, as a lot of these smaller cities did.
Could you tell that as a youngster? I mean, could you tell that it was a shell of something that it had been prior?
Yes, I don't think that I could have really understood that when I was very little, but we never stopped in downtown Framingham when I was very little.
Yeah.
There weren't any stores to go to. There wasn't any reason to stop. And little by little, as Brazilian immigrants came and built up the town and took over those storefronts, downtown Framingham became a really different place. And it is now has the highest concentration of Brazilian immigrants anywhere outside of Brazil.
Wow. Anderson, can you tell us a little, I mean, is this part of why you chose to settle in Framingham? You talked about, kind of having a dream for a long time of coming to America. Why Framingham?
It's funny because my choice is would be California, because I surfed a long time. But my friend lived in Boston, and he asked me for help. He gave me help for 3 months. And when I start to live in Massachusetts, I start to live in Lowell, and my church, it's close to Framingham, Melbourne. And I made a couple friends in Framingham and see Framingham, and I see the Brazilian restaurant, Brazilian stories, Brazil for everywhere. I say, oh my God.
You're like, this is a place for me.
Yes, exactly this. And I start to move to Framingham, and I live in Framingham and make a lot of friends. It's funny because most of my friends is a citizen, but citizen and this kind of citizen, they love Brazilian guys and help me a lot with my English, because when I arrived in America, I didn't start speaking English, nothing. Just start to.
You had none when you came here?
Yeah.
Wow, incredible.
Yeah, I start to. The citizen, a lot of friends help me to learn and help me. This make me learn fast than in the school, and I really love Framingham because I feel home, Brazilian. It's a Brazilian city in Massachusetts.
That's very cool. You mentioned, you mentioned obviously the pull of family is one of the reasons why you returned to Brazil. You talked about the fact that your faith is important to you and you prayed on it, and that was a factor in your decision. But I also wonder about, you kind of mentioned politics a little bit, but the current administration's immigration tactics are something that are kind of front and center, and I wonder what impact that had on your decision and what it was like living in a community where you were a community that was being targeted heavily by ICE.
Yes, exactly this. My family, it's my first motivation to come back, because the actual administration make hard to stay in America. This application that I did, the long time is 1 year and 6 months, but I wait for 3 years, almost 3 years. and I don't know why it's so long. And I saw a lot of ICE operation in Framingham, Marlborough, and Milford. And I am a police guy. I'm not.
Right. Your
I'm
your
not
your
criminal,
your
and
job
I'm
previous
scared.
was
Yeah,
in.
I'm scared to be
Yeah.
a criminal. I'm
Yeah.
scared to be a criminal. I'm not criminal. I didn't say I'm far away from my family. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how long time I need to wait anymore. I will go back. I will go back.
Yeah.
Exactly like this.
You listen to the Curiosity Desk. We're talking with Anderson Costa and GBH's Emily Junum about a new short documentary featuring Anderson about Brazilians living in the city of Framingham. On a happier note, Anderson, what was it like when you got home? I mean, did people know you were coming home? Did your family know you were coming home? What was the reunion moment like?
Yeah, I did a surprise for my children. My wife knows about, but my
Oh, your
children not.
children
And
didn't know?
no,
Oh
they
my! Did
didn't
they
know.
flip out?
Just my wife, my parents, my children, and I make a video and share with Emily. Emily have this. I
Hmm.
don't know if maybe she can do a second part of this documentary about this, but it's funny and very emotional for me. It's very very nice.
Yeah. Well, Emily, speaking of that, I mean, Anderson just mentioned he's still giving you content, maybe for a part two, but just let's talk a little bit more about this documentary that you did produce. What was the production of that like, and what's the response been like?
So the production was a very intense, short amount of time.
Yeah.
As Anderson can attest to, I followed him around for several days.
How'd you meet Anderson?
So I,
Uh-oh. Wow, I've
because I
stumbled
No,
onto a
it's fine.
story
It's
here.
funny.
no,
It's
it's
funny.
it's actually that I have a former teacher who I'm still in touch with on occasion, and he knew Anderson, and I was curious what was happening in Framingham, and what was happening with the Brazilian community. And he suggested that I talk to Anderson, and he put us in touch. And he said, "Oh, I have a friend who happens to be leaving in about 3 weeks
Wow.
and going back to Brazil." And so I reached out to Anderson, and he was kind enough he was extremely gracious with his time and letting me follow him through all his errands and packing. And it is not a calm process trying to get yourself ready to move across the world.
Speaking of the documentary and your packing, Anderson, there's a moment in the documentary where you are making sure that you're getting a particular kind of, I think it's like a skin cream or something for your wife because she really likes this brand and it's not available in Brazil. Did you get it to her, and was she happy to receive it?
Yeah, this cream is fun because my wife have tourist visa. She came to USA 3 times and buy this, but now she knows I will leave and we don't know. Maybe I don't come back more anymore. And she said, "Please buy one more for me." And we're looking for an CVS, TJ Maxx, a lot of stores. And I found this and I bring for her. Her was very happy with this
Was she
because we don't
happier to
have this.
see you or to get the cream?
I think it's the cream. The both.
This is Curiosity Desk. We're talking with GBH's Emily Junum and Anderson Costa about their new short documentary about Brazilians living in the city of Framingham. Anderson, I wonder, what would you say to folks who kind of hear your story or maybe see this documentary and say to themselves, well, I mean, he wasn't really here legally anyways. I mean, this is the immigration process. Like, is it more complicated than people realize? Is it not as simple as either you're here legally or you're not here legally?
Yes, it's more complication than people realize. I know I'm talking about by myself because when I I heard people talking about, oh, you can come here, you can buy a lawyer, you can do a application, and. But it's not so easy. And now, maybe before this administration is maybe it's easier, but now it's not. Now, I didn't everything right, but does it work? It doesn't matter what you do now. I think they don't wanna uh, make easy this this process right now. You know what I mean? Because I have skills. I'm a special force. I'm a police. I'm a police officer again here.
So you were a police
I'm,
officer in Brazil before you came here.
yeah,
Worked
yeah,
all
and now
kinds
I
of
come
jobs
back.
here. Now you're back and you're going back to policing, being back in Brazil.
Yes, exactly. And I don't know why, but I think I have a good skills for the government take advantage of this. And but I don't know. I saw a lot of Brazilian police officers working in America,
Yeah.
but now it's hard to do this. I
Yeah.
don't know why, but it's hard.
Emily, do you have a sense? I mean, from your reporting on this, or just in general, I mean, how typical or atypical is Anderson's situation?
I will make a disclaimer that I'm not an attorney or anywhere
Yeah.
close to an attorney, but I will say that from everyone I've spoken to reporting this story and previous immigration related stories, this is quite common. The immigration process was already extraordinarily complicated and slow and burdensome before the Trump administration came in, and it is now, from where I'm sitting, seems untenable. And I think there is a misconception that there is this black and white. You're either here legally or you're
Totally.
here illegally. But that's not the case. You're, under many types of visas, you are allowed to stay here and work here while your application is processing. But as Anderson experienced, and I think, others I've spoken to have experienced, that time frame is uncertain now. The results are uncertain. The process is extremely opaque, and it's hard to know. That the Trump administration has not always had that same view, even though you are legally allowed to be here while your application is processing. There have been instances where the Trump administration has still detained people who have the legal standing to be here.
Yeah,
It's
Anderson.
sad because I saw there is a like a fast pass you can pay in immigration, like for they should be to figure out your application in 60 days.
Yeah.
60 days. And a lot of people pay this and wait for 1 year.
Wow. So you pay extra money to get the thing
No,
fast
I
tracked.
will try.
Or
I
one
will
can.
try.
But you're
Yeah.
saying that there was
I
a situation
I
where
will try.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will try, but I saw a lot of people pay it doesn't work.
doesn't work. Well, I mean, you say you will try. So this kind of leads me to my final question, Anderson, which is to say at the beginning of this, you sort of said, to a certain extent, you long had an American dream. You came here trying to work it. You had the thought that maybe this is something you could bring your whole family here. It has not worked out this time. Is it over? Is this dream over, or will you try again? Would you come back?
It's not over because my application is still wrong, but I don't know if this administration will do something. Maybe I can wait for the next the two more years. I don't know. It's not dead. My dream is not dead, but I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's coming in the future.
All right. We've been speaking with Anderson Costa, the focus of a new short doc available right now on the GBH News YouTube channel. It's called Why Brazilians Are Leaving Framingham. Thank you, Anderson, for being with us.
Thank you.
And also thanks
you.
to Emily Judum, who's with us in studio. She produced the film. Thanks for being with us, Emily.
Thank you, Edgar.